Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Texas Mortgage Boss podcast. My name is James J. And today I am joined by Bridget Falcone from Goosehead Insurance. We're going to have some insurance talk, and Bridget's going to give us some advice on things that we should be looking for, but we're probably not when it comes to insurance. We're also going to get some additional advice from her on things to watch for when you are getting homeowners insurance. And we'll get started right after this. Let's go. Hey, Bridget, how you doing?
Good. I am honored to be here.
We have been trying to do this for a little while, but it's been worth the wait to get you to come over here.
Without a doubt, finally.
It's funny because we've got a lot of things in common from the media side, and we're going to get into kind of your background and how you got into the insurance industry, because you probably didn't grow up wanting to be in the industry. I'm guessing that wasn't.
Just every little girl's dream to either be a princess or an insurance agent,
But we're going to get into that and get some advice because, on the mortgage side, obviously homeowners insurance is one of those things that we have to have it, number one. In a lot of situations, it can make or break a deal in some cases. So we'll get into kind of some of the things that people should be looking for in their policies, because I think a lot of people, I know a lot of people are just trying to find the cheapest policy. And that comes back and kind of.
That can really bite you later on. You're making.
So.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So tell a little bit. So I know you are an Aggie. You are a graduate of Texas A&M. So how do you go from Aggie land to Goosehead Insurance, which is a really big insurance company? So kind of give us a little journey from college into where you got where you got into the insurance business.
You got it. Okay, so it's a lot of curves in this story.
Yep.
So I started off at A&M. I graduated in 2019 with a broadcast journalism degree. So my passion and where I saw myself in 5 years was ESPN. SEC Network. I wanted to be a sideline reporter. I've wanted it for literally as long as I can remember. I'm obsessed with sports. I love, the entire side of media, either if it's behind the camera, in front of the camera, on the computer, whatever it is. I loved media. Went to school, worked for a big company called TexAgs at A&M, and I covered all sports, but predominantly baseball, soccer, and I did a little bit of football. And I loved every second of it. Was on the radio show 3 times a week, and it was amazing. Get out into the real world, and nobody told me that the real world, 1, sucks, and 2, it's so hard to find a job.
Oh, God.
5 years of experience when I just got out of college,
Right.
And so after looking, I finally got an opportunity with Sports Radio 610 here in Houston.
Yeah.
And so they're home of the Texans. I was so excited. Yeah. But of course, in media, you have to work your way from the top to the bottom. So I started off, grunt level, setting up things, and worked really hard.
Yeah.
I actually, by December, was doing traffic for all stations there. So it's 100.3 The Bull, 610, 95.7, a bunch of them. I was doing traffic. And I remember one day very distinctly, I was doing a little interview because I did this little thing on the side with charities, and people just started sprinting up and down the hallway. And we're on the 19th floor of the Granite Tower in the Galleria. So you can hear when people are running. Right. And I open the door and people are like, the rodeo has been canceled. And I was like, oh my gosh, this COVID thing is real. If they canceled the rodeo, like what's going to happen?
Yes. I think a lot of people, I think when that happened, a lot of people were like, what's going on?
Okay. Exactly. And so it was the rodeo, and it was also the NBA season.
Yes.
Once those two were gone, it was like, okay, this is going to be bad.
Yeah.
So literally probably a week later, I got a call from my program director letting me know I was furloughed, but it was okay. One day I was furloughed. The next day he calls me, he says, I have an opportunity for you. Would you like to be the producer for the afternoon show? I was like, absolutely, sign me up. Did it all from home. It was the most stressful time of my life because I'm literally running a radio show from my mom's Wi-Fi. My mom knew not to
Wow.
talk to me from 2 to 6 o'clock because I was going to be just, I mean, it was crazy, but it was such a great opportunity. Um, as time went on, we were able to go back into the studio.
Right.
And unfortunately, it just wasn't the time for me in the radio business. There was a gentleman that was probably a little bit more geared towards. I loved it, don't get me wrong,
Right.
but I just had some finances that I needed to worry about. And
Yeah.
so my really good friend from A&M, she was actually my little in our sorority, got a job at Goosehead a month before me. She comes and talks to me and she's like, hey, I know you're a big sports girl, but just try this company. It's pretty cool. I think you'll like it. By
Right.
the first interview, Goosehead hooked me. And it's a drawn out interview process. I mean, it is very rigorous to get
Yeah.
here. 4 interviews with top dogs of the company. And I loved it from the start.
Yeah.
And I've been here since September.
Okay.
I live, breathe, eat Goosehead.
Yep. Yep.
It's so they sent us off to training. This is the most ridiculous story. They sent us off to training in our headquarters, which is in Westlake, and we were there for 2 weeks. The very first day, it's a big group of us. The very first day, I met this guy, and he was really great. He was going to be in the Austin office.
Okay.
We're now dating. We've been dating since training. So he's over in the Austin office, and I'm here. My
Okay.
roommate works for Goosehead. I mean, literally, it is all insurance for me.
Wow.
And loved it ever since.
That is cool. So your background as far as the media side, I mean, it's gotta you're still in the people business. It's a little different. You're not dealing necessarily with athletes per se, but you got a
Just
ton of different
homeowners.
personalities. Yeah, I mean, you got a ton of different people that you're having to deal with on the insurance side of things, and so that's actually a really really cool story. And for people that probably don't know, because I was in the entertainment type industry, the little acting. It's a lot of grinding. Like you got to really sacrifice,
You
and
do.
it may take a while, and everybody's not in a position to necessarily do that up front, for years and years and years, especially on that side. But I love the fact that there's so many more women now getting into that side of the business, whether it's football. So
It's
were
Aaron
you
Andrews.
were you playing sports growing up? Were you a big
Yes.
sports? Okay.
I ran track. So
Okay.
unfortunately, didn't have a ton of coordination, but I was gifted being really fast. And
Okay.
so I actually went to state 3 years in a row. I
Awesome.
graduated in Pasadena, actually,
Okay.
so Southeast Houston, and ran track 400, 200, 4x4. So I loved that, but then
Yeah.
infatuated with, I mean, obviously football and baseball.
Yeah.
Basketball, it took me a little bit to, get up, to really learn the game and be able
Right.
to speak it. Such
Right.
a fast sport. And I found out that was not my forte to talk
Yep.
about.
Yep.
But baseball and football, just always loved it, always had family members playing it. So that's where the obsession started. And then obviously I went to A&M and it
Yep.
just grew from there.
Got it. So now that you're on the insurance side of things, I mean, we kind of talked a little bit about this before we came on, as far as some of the things that people are like need to really be aware of when it comes out. I'm on the mortgage side of things. I know you guys kind of you guys do every kind of insurance. Is that right?
Yes, sir, we
Okay.
do.
So
So
uh,
go ahead.
go ahead. No, I was going to say, so, for me, it's obviously I am on the mortgage side. We got to have homeowners insurance, number one. And I know that's kind of like maybe a foot in the door for an insurance company. And then you can kind of start branching off to other things. But I want you to kind of get into some of the things that maybe people need to really be paying attention to when it comes to homeowners insurance, because I know for a fact there are people that all they care about is getting the cheapest policy, right? That's all they're looking at is the numbers. So I want you to talk about that, and then how that can come back and bite people when they're just
Oh,
looking for a cheap policy. And Goose has got a great reputation.
yeah.
Great reputation.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so Goosehead is a brokerage. We're
Right.
actually one of the largest brokerages in the nation now. And so what I do is I'm able to shop 32 carriers at one time in order to customize and find, a homeowner
Right.
or, an auto owner,
Yeah.
whatever they're looking for, find them the best rate with the best coverage. So
Yeah.
I'm truly going to find them the best thing that the market has to offer just because of our products. I mean, we truly, the sky is the limit. We've got Liberty Mutual, Allstate, Nationwide, Progressive, I mean, literally everybody. But we also have those coastal carriers that are competitive, anything south of I-10, or, Galveston, things like that. So very versatile whenever it comes to being able to shop you and find the best thing for you. As far as, sorry, I was like, where did I go with that? So as far as what we see a lot, so obviously lenders are kings and queens, because you guys have, do a lot of business in it. We are a very vital part of your process.
Absolutely.
So my goal as a business owner is to make relationships with lenders like yourself, and get them to trust me, understand the way that I work, and that I'm going to treat their clients with the exact same professionalism that you do. And I'm going to get y'all to closing. That, like, insurance will not be a question for closing not happening. And that's like my guarantee. So you would send me a client, and they call me, obviously looking for home insurance. I first collect a bunch of information, and then I go ahead and run some quotes, find them the best option. This is where it separates, I feel, the good insurance agents from the bad. I call them and I say, give me 30 minutes right now. We're going to walk through this entire policy. You tell me what you like. You tell me what you don't like. I'm going to tell you why you need these things. And I'm going to, if something happens. So it's that explanation process that is so important that a lot of agents don't do. They just email a quote.
That's it.
And that's fine, because everybody's busy, especially these homeowners. I've worked till like 9 p.m. because that's the first time they can do it. And I'm totally understanding. They're going through the biggest purchase of their life. I want to be the easy part of that. And so, like you said, I do see it sometimes when they have DTI issues, where, insurance is going to make or break this deal. And so I do my best to accommodate financially, but also I do know what's important. I do know, hey, let's make sure that roof is replacement cost, because if it's actual cash value, it's $400 cheaper. But what happens when your roof needs replaced in 5 years, and they're going to give you $1,000 for it, and not your.
I want you to stay on that real quick, Bridget, because this is super important. I'm glad you brought this up, because I'm actually going through this personally right now. This has nothing to do. I'm literally going through this right now with the house.
I got goosebumps.
So I want you to talk about what you just said, because this is a big issue when it comes to roof. I'm literally dealing with this as we speak with my house in San Antonio. So talk about what you just, replacement cost versus just break that down for people so people understand, because this is one of those things that people don't really pay attention to. And the fact that you go the extra step to actually call people, it's important. I know people think, it's just insurance. I know, I just have to have it. They need to understand.
I have your life, your whole life. I have it in my hands.
Yeah, I mean, literally. It's serious. And it's never a problem until there's a problem. See, they don't think about it.
Are you speaking from experience?
Well, not with my home. Not
okay, good.
But the one I'm kind of dealing with it right now with the home that I had in San Antonio. And I'm having an issue kind of with the roof. But I'm glad you brought this up, because this is one of those things that people just kind of skip by, and whatever, they just don't look, they don't read into what's really being covered. So, but that roof thing it struck a nerve with me, because I'm dealing with it myself. But yeah, explain the difference between the two.
For sure.
I want people to understand how important this really is when you're buying a home.
Mm-hmm. So there's two different options. I like to call them the fine print of a policy.
Yes.
There is actual cash value.
Yep.
There is replacement cost.
Yeah.
Actual cash value is going to factor in depreciation.
Got it.
So the examples that I like to give are your roof, of course, because roofs are so important when it comes to insurance. Probably the number one factor, if I'm going to be honest. Location and roof.
Yeah.
And so if you have a 15-year-old roof, that's probably going to be needing replacement pretty soon, especially here in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this 15-year-old roof. You want to make sure that the policy that you are getting is replacement cost,
right?
Because your roof has depreciated 15 years.
Yep.
You know what you're going to get for that roof? Nothing. You have to make sure, and it's going to be a little bit more expensive on the policy, but I promise you it's going to be a lot better when you have a $400 increase in the premium for 1 year, for each year, versus paying $30,000. I don't even know how much roofs cost. I mean, it depends on the house, but
for sure.
then spending $20,000 on a brand new roof because you got no help from insurance. It is so important. So it's an insurance agent's job to explain this to clients because they're not the professionals. They've got their own professions. And this is our job to explain that actual cash value should never be used on a policy unless it is absolutely necessary.
Right.
Replacement cost is the only thing that my company will actually write. We set very high standards for our agents here. And the only way, so contents and dwelling are going to be the two things that should be replacement cost.
Right.
Your contents are very important too, and we will not ever write an ACV contents. Because if you have a $10,000 couch that gets burned, but it's gets burned in a fire, but it's 10 years old, we want to make sure that you get that $10,000 that you paid for that couch, not have that depreciation. But the only time that ACV can be accepted is, of course, if the client knows. And it is our last resort. Sometimes we understand that, the client's buying the house knowing that it's a 20-year-old roof. We can't cover it because it's just too old. They go ahead and say, I know that this is, but it is like last resort. I mean, that gets escalated to our quality control team, who's like, why did this happen? They need a lot of, there's a lot that goes into that.
Good. Yeah.
So replacement cost, keep that in everybody's mind. Actual cash value, bad. Replacement cost, good.
No, that makes sense. And I think that explains why some companies that probably don't have the reputation of a goosehead
cheaper
will do something like that just because it's cheaper, essentially. And some people there are people that they just want cheap. I find it very, very crazy that people don't think about, listen, this is a home. This is your house where you're making memories, where you live, and you're trying to get cheap insurance. Like, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It just doesn't. But again, it's never a problem until there's a problem.
Until it's a problem. Oh, for sure. So if you're lucky, roll the dice. But hey, I'm not lucky. I'm never gonna roll the dice.
There's no way I want to roll the dice when it comes to my homeowners insurance. And like I said, people need to get educated in the fact that you guys take the time to actually call people. Because I have a lot of companies that I've used in previous years. They don't call. They just send it. And the clients don't really know. And listen, I'm not an insurance expert myself. I know mortgages. I know real estate. I don't know insurance. So I'm not going to try and interpret the policy. I'm just going to leave it up to the insurance person. But the reality is they don't take the time to really educate the buyer on and people need to get this education, even if it's just a few minutes of explaining. Just looking at what's the premium. That's all people look at.
I've adjusted my sales process. It's funny you said that. I've adjusted my sales process a little bit. So at the beginning, I started off with the price and I said, okay, it's going to be this, but listen to what is on here and we can make customizations, because this is how I would quote my best friend. This is how I quote my mom. This is how I quote myself. So I made sure that you were protected 100%. If you want to make customizations, we can later. I've kind of switched to telling the price at the end. And I don't know which one's worse. I mean, people, that's really all they care about. But they do, and it's fine because I get it. I'd probably be the same exact way. But all I want them to do is just listen to what's on there. And once they listen to what's on there, they're like, oh my gosh, I have $25,000 for a slow leak. That sounds great. And it only cost me $14 a year for a slow leak coverage of $25,000. Thank you for adding that endorsement. So that's my only thing. I'm like, hey, I promise we're done after this. Just listen so that I can help you. And also a big thing that I do with my clients is I give them my cell phone, my direct number. And, I check my email religiously and I say, anything you need, I'm there. That's what separates me from another agent is that I'm going to be your lifeline if you need it. And we also have a full service team that handles claims, which they're amazing. They're so helpful. But I want them to know that they can ask a question at any time and, be advised, so that's my way that I like to run things.
No, it's great because again, I know a lot of insurance agents or companies, they do none of this.
Yeah.
They don't take the extra time to sit and have a brief conversation. And again, it's one of those things people know they have to have it, but they just are not getting educated on things that need to be covered. And again, they don't know. They don't find out until there's an issue. You know, a hurricane, hailstorm, something
The
happens.
freeze. Oh, the
Oh my God. Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up. Like
freeze
who would have
was
knew, right? Who knows something like that's gonna happen?
that
And
a freak accident. I mean,
yes,
obviously, we didn't expect for that to happen.
absolutely.
We're all in office.
Yeah,
We have been for quite a while, and none. I mean, I think two of us had power throughout that entire process,
yeah,
and we've got clients calling us. Thankfully, I only had two, and they were able to get their full, like everything that they were owed within 2 weeks. So it was
yeah,
actually really great.
yeah,
But I mean, my manager's been here for 3 years and he had 30 claims. And it was so upsetting because there was nothing we could do about it yet, just because we didn't have power. Thankfully, we have a service team that's in other states. So
yeah,
they did. So we were able to still help the clients or get the ball rolling. But it was just the most helpless feeling when you're like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
that
yeah.
was bad.
Yeah, I know a ton of people who found out a lot about their insurance in February.
Oh yeah, water backup. You need water backup
Right.
coverage. Now,
Yes.
I
I
hate to
know
say
a
this.
lot of people that
I hate to
learned.
say this. It's like Harvey with flood insurance. All
Yeah,
we have to do is bring up Harvey, and
yes.
that's the reason that you should get a flood insurance.
No question.
Everybody should get flood insurance in Houston. Don't even question it. But also now the freeze has become, hey, water backup's pretty important.
Yeah,
Do you want
yeah,
this to happen? For it's $27 for the entire year to add this endorsement.
yeah.
You remember the freeze, right? And I hate using those because it's such traumatic experiences. But I just want clients to realize the magnitude of what can happen if you're not properly insured.
Yeah, listen, if we knew what was going to happen, we wouldn't need insurance. If we
Exactly. We're
knew,
not
right?
God.
Who knew? We're going to lose power for 4 or 5 days, for some people longer. I mean, a once in a 50, 60, 70 year storm hits Houston and San Antonio for that matter. But,
Yeah,
I mean, this is, listen, again, if we knew what was going to happen, you wouldn't need the insurance. So to me, it's the peace of mind. That's really what you're paying for. It's peace of mind to know that
mhm,
you're going to have coverage on certain things. You can't plan for it. We couldn't plan for a freeze to bust pipes. I mean, fortunately, nothing happened for my home, but I know a lot of people. Again, they
good.
learned a lot about their insurance during that week or after the
Mhm.
weeks after the storm. A lot of stuff they didn't know was not covered.
People still dealing with it too.
Yeah, still,
And
absolutely. Yeah, I know a lot of people still. Yeah, I got people that are, and a lot of people are dealing with it. So we're now at the end of April. That happened in February.
February,
And
second
there
week
are
of
still people, because of the insurance not being covered, where they can't they haven't been able to get things taken care of, or if they're having to do it on their own, these contractors have been so slammed dealing
Yep,
with, and so it's been a struggle, and we're almost in May at this point.
I
So
know. I can't imagine. And that's another big reason to go with. I mean, of course, I'm going to plug, myself and my company.
absolutely, but you guys have the reputation, so you do that. Go
We
ahead.
do. We really do. I mean, we just, let alone the products,
Yes.
the customer service. I will even sometimes tell some jokes to you or send you cookies, there's something. But also, we have this excellent service team that are all licensed agents. So
Right.
they know this lingo. Whereas a client doesn't know this lingo because they have their own profession that they're worrying about, their own situations. So we've got a full licensed team to haggle because we represent the clients. We're a
Yeah.
middleman. Represent the clients, we write the carriers. So I love them both, but my
Yeah.
clients are my number one priority.
Absolutely.
And so we have this service team that's going to know that, in the fine print, they had $25,000 for this right here. So let's make sure they get that $25,000. Oh, they have to be out of their house. Let's make sure to get them that loss of use that's
Yeah.
on their policy, that $40,000 for them to stay at a hotel, for them to go out to eat. They
Yeah.
they get that. That happened to a client of mine, and my service team was able to get her everything, and it was amazing. She had, I think she was something that was smoke damage in her kitchen, and so it was just It's a flawless process. It's a one-stop shop where we take care of everything for you. All you have to do, I mean, literally all you have to do is just be with us, and we've got you. We've got you under our umbrella, basically.
Yeah. No, that is it's music, honestly, because the reputation, first of all, that Goosehead has. If you're in the industry in mortgage real estate, like, Goosehead, like, we're in Houston. I don't think
We're
anybody has not.
aggressive.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does not know Goosehead Insurance. So the reputation is there, and again, for people that are in the process of looking either to buy a home right now, or even if you already own a home, you need to look at your coverages. Like, you really need to pay attention. First of all, you need to reach out to Bridget. That's
Just get a quote. It's free to get a
yes.
quote.
But it is one of those things that people, they just neglect. They just don't think about it. It's just, I make my monthly payment, insurance and taxes are taken care of.
I don't
I'm
know. It's
not worried about it.
auto-crafted.
Not
Yeah.
not gonna worry about it. And then, like I said, when there's an issue, and then they found out, oh, okay, well, this is not taken care of. This is not covered. I'm not covered for this. And I hear these stories all the time. I've been
Yeah.
15 years in real estate mortgage. I always hear something. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know.
I
So
believe it.
you do not want to be in that situation. And again, if we knew what was going to happen, you wouldn't need insurance, right?
At
So
all.
don't neglect. Look at the policy. Call the agent. Call Bridget. Give her a call. I'm sure. Will you help? Can you help people, even if maybe they're not necessarily with you guys right now? Obviously,
That's
we
no
want
problem.
you to get all their business,
I
everybody's business. But
I love that. Absolutely. Send me your current policy.
right,
My email is on here. Send me your current policy and I'll look it over. And I'm not a liar. Aggies do not lie, cheat, steal, or those who do. I will never be a liar. If you have a good policy, I will tell you that you have a good policy, and there's nothing that I would change about it. You stick with them. They're perfect.
yeah,
But if I see some flaws in there, I'm going to let you know, just so that you know, you're able to look at them. They're at the forefront of your mind. And whenever renewal comes and you want to, look around, you think about those, to ask those questions. But
yeah,
also, if you're just looking to save some money, if your escrow payments are too high right now, or if you're thinking about getting a new house, but you don't know how much insurance is going to cost, I will help you with those quotes. I will explain everything that's on there. And, just see. I mean, it's all about, I feel like we live in a world now where it's all about compare, whether it's Instagram, when you're comparing on Instagram, or,
That's so true.
but you're comparing, you want to compare. And that's what my company and I do best, is we compare rates and we show you the pros and cons of this, and what the best option is for you. So I would love that. And honestly, me telling you that your policy is great is going to speak a lot higher than me being like, but I bet I can do better.
That
So
is
that's
so,
my viewpoint,
yeah, yeah,
but I'm going to be honest, I can beat your policy.
yeah. Well, listen, I'm the same way, because people will come to me and they've got an approval, or a rate sheet, not a rate sheet, but an estimate from another mortgage company, and I'm the
Right.
same way. I will tell people, hey, listen, you should stick with that. You got a good deal, like, stick with that. So you guys operate the same way. You're like that, and so it's not. Obviously, we want everybody's business, but the reality is, I'm the same way. I'm very honest with people. If I feel like they're getting something already, and it's either something I can't do to help them, or better what they already offer, I will tell people, hey, I would stick with that. And
Yeah.
there are times where it happens, for us
It speaks
too.
for your character. It truly speaks for your character. And of course, AMCAP is the best. I mean, I've got so many agents in here that if I told them I was talking to you, they would all be watching in this mirror. Like, that is the reputation that AMCAP and that you have. So I am truly so honored to be here. Yeah, this has been great. But that speaks a lot about your characters. Lee, we're
For
good
sure.
people.
Yeah.
We're
No,
good
no, no
professionals.
talking about it. But I'm glad that you all guys offered this. So we're gonna have you come back on. So I want people to reach out to you. So if you just have questions, you want somebody to kind of review the policy with you and kind of reach out to Bridget. Goosehead is a great company, and the reputation is there. So you guys can look that up, right? You don't have to take Bridget's word or my word. Everything's out there right now. There is there's no hiding from reputation. Now, but I mean, I use you guys. I got to get you more business, honestly, because sometimes people do come to me with, they have an insurance policy for their car or something, and they like to stick with it. I get it.
Mhm.
But I gotta get more people to you guys
Yeah,
because
we do auto too. Most of the time, I'm able to save
yes,
people, you name it with auto.
yeah,
So, but yeah, no, that would be great. I look forward to it. It is truly, truly an honor to get to work with your clients too. So that means the world to be part of the process.
yeah. So reach out to Bridget, guys. Her information is below, her email, phone number. Reach out to her if you just got questions. I'm telling you,
Or-
you need to get your policy out when you're watching this. Get that policy out and review it, because if you knew what was going to happen, you wouldn't need it. I said that like 3 times for a reason, Bridget.
I
Like I
love
gotta
that. That's
repeat
the
myself.
hashtag for this video.
If you knew, you wouldn't need it. That's the whole point of having the peace of mind. But you want to make sure you are covered in areas that are really, really important. Like your home is number one. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Um, Even if you're renting, let's talk about this real quick too, Bridget. Because I mean, people rent and they don't even think about this, right? Um,
Ooh,
they don't think about
renters,
renter's insurance, right? Nobody, a lot of people don't even. They don't
they
even think
don't.
about this. I'm renting. I don't need to worry about it.
You
What do you
do.
say to people that don't think about renter's insurance?
This is all I have to say is a story. One of my clients that had the worst claim that I personally have ever seen. He was a client of mine. He had a renter's policy through me.
Mhm.
He would have lost. So it happened in the freeze.
Yeah,
His ceiling completely caved in his
yeah.
kitchen and his living room. Both of them caved in completely. I mean, it was disgusting. I
Mhm.
didn't even know the ceiling had that much stuff in it. And it was soggy and it was terrible.
Wow.
He sent me pictures and I was like, thank heavens that he has a renter's policy, because if he did not, all of his belongings,
Just
all
gone.
of them gone.
Yeah.
No coverage. The only thing that is covered for it's called a landlord policy. So
Okay.
they cover the house and the structure and everything. They don't cover your belongings at
Yeah.
all. There's no
No.
coverage for that. So that's the big thing the renter's policy does.
Mhm.
Also, liability. You have to have your own liability insurance
Yeah.
for your renter's policy, because the homeowner has theirs, but that's just for them. You have
Right.
to, on a renter's policy, there is contents coverage and liability coverage.
Right.
Liability, of course, keeping somebody from suing you,
Yeah.
protection if something happens. You don't want somebody having too many tequila shots at your apartment,
Yep.
driving home, getting
Yep.
in a wreck, and blaming you
Yep.
for feeding them all those tequila shots.
Yeah.
If they sue you, you want to have some backup there.
Absolutely. And this stuff happens. Like this, people think, that's not gonna happen. You don't know. You just don't
You never know.
You
I've
don't
got I've always thought that a good book, or a good like audio book, because I feel like people don't really read books anymore,
Yes.
would be tales tales from an insurance agent, and they're just stories of, of
Oh my
claims.
gosh. I can imagine. Yeah, one of my good friends is an insurance adjuster.
Oh,
So he's actually he goes and the stories I hear from him, I'm like, oh my gosh. He's got stories. He's got
I
lots of
believe
stories.
it. I believe it.
So, but yeah, so we're gonna have you come back on. I want to have you come back on. There's a lot of other things that we can get into outside of just homeowners insurance. I mean, that's one of the big ones for me, obviously. But we're gonna have you come back on, and we're gonna continue to educate people on things that they need to be aware of. But I will encourage everybody, go get your policy. If you're watching this, go look at your insurance policy. I don't care if you're renting or you own it, doesn't matter. If you are renting and you have no renter's insurance coverage,
It's
you
cheap.
need
It's
it.
literally $200 a
Yeah,
year. It's so cheap.
yeah. If people have this misconception about insurance and I just want cheap, 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 it's gonna hurt. It's gonna bite you. It's going to bite you when it
I will
comes down
help
to
you.
it.
Let me be the professor.
Yes. So reach out to Bridget. Her information is below. And like I said, Bridget, we're gonna have you come back on
Yeah.
as much as you can. I'll have you come back on it. This is one of those topics that needs to be talked about a whole lot more than it is. It's not just something that I have to get my house. All right.
Right.
Although you do, you have to have
Absolutely.
it, but you need to know why you have to
Why?
have it. And you need to know what's in that policy. And without you reading through it, because I think people get intimidated maybe by some of the language in some of these policies, and they don't take the time to actually read it.
Don't worry, I'll
So,
explain it. I
oh
have
yeah,
to bring it down a few levels for myself to understand. I'm going to do it the
yes,
same for you. Don't
yeah.
worry, I got
It's the
you.
same way. Yeah, when we're going to remember mortgage documents, it's the same thing. Like I'm not going to sit there and read everything. I'm going to summarize it. Like I'm a professional. I can summarize this for you to understand what you need to
Uh-huh.
know. And that's what Bridget will do as well. So thank you so much, Bridget. I am so glad we got to do this.
You are an icon.
We're going to do this again. And like I said, make sure you guys reach out to Bridget. Phone number, email is scrolling across. You can send me a DM, Instagram. Go check out TexasMortgageBoss.com. That is our website. And we're going to have Bridget come back on and we'll talk some more insurance. And maybe we'll talk some more sports as well.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk some sports.
Baseball
The
season
draft.
just started.
Yeah, the draft is tonight. We'll have to talk about
and
that.
the NFL draft. Yes. So I've had my name in the draft for about 25 years. I have yet to be picked, but I'm not giving up. This is what I tell my class.
Dreams.
I'm going to see if they call my name tonight. We'll see. But anyway, thank you so much, Bridget.
Thank you.
Call Bridget, guys. Go pull out that policy right now. Like right now, go look at it. And if you don't know what you're looking at, call Bridget. She'll help you. All right. All right, Bridget. Thank you so much.
Bye. You're awesome.